Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me for this interview. Just to kick it off, how did you get involved with marketing?
It kind of started when my mother began her business. So she started selling outfits for boy-girl twins and was trying to figure out she's a small business, so how do I get in front of people who want to buy my stuff? And at that point, Facebook was around. I'm sure Instagram was around. I was 13, so I wasn't really on any social media. But I was like, we can do free advertising on social media. Because I was seeing all these brands who were utilizing this. So I was like, that's what we need to do. We need to get on Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest. And so I began kind of setting all of that up, and that led to me delving into okay, this is how we set up a Shopify. And this is how we have Shopify pages and blogs. And so that business is very on again, off again, because she will get pregnant and get sick and just be busy with the kids. But that was my very beginning in becoming exposed to marketing through social media, SEO, and writing blogs and content creation. So that was where I began, and then that's developed into working with other small businesses.
Wow. So you kind of started out self-taught. You saw this maybe need or demand from your mom that she needed to get out there. And so what were the most maybe important or effective tools that you learned while you were kind of gauging how does one even market that helped you then to be successful?
I think probably studying other people who were using it and going and looking at similar brands and seeing, okay, what did they do? Because as someone who was self-taught, I didn't have a course or a teacher who was saying this is how you do it. So I would instead learn to imitate and to go and see, okay, these people have a lot of followers. How are they doing it? And I think I also actually had a consulting with Derek McGill because he works for Isaac. And so Isaac recommended, he's like, Derek's this whiz kid, you should totally talk to him. So we had a chat about landing pages and how you get people there and how you should be utilizing social media, how to get people following you and interacting with you. So there are some instances where it's good to talk to people and to go and ask hey, what's worked for you and how might I, borrow a page from your book and imitate that. But it's also really good to just for free go and stalk a brand's social media, look them all up on Instagram and see, okay, this is the kind of posts they're doing and the captions and the type of hashtags, and this is what they put in their stories. And even do they have a logo or do they have a face in their profile picture? All these little tiny details that represent you as a company, and figuring out, okay, how do I want to do that and do it in a way that make other people interested?
Right. So how have you kind of taking this education that you received and implementing it into the world of self-directed marketing and, really become kind of self-sufficient in the realm of digital marketing?
I think it's a constant learning process. I work with pretty tiny businesses as of right now. And what often happens there is that everybody has multiple roles. So I have a boss who makes jewelry, but she's also become really good at styling photographs to put on her Instagram because she doesn't want to pay someone to do it. So she does it herself, and she's got the props and everything that she needs to go on there. And so what I've done is basically kind of over-promised myself. And I began working in marketing because I was doing Praxis. And so I knew, okay, I've got to find a job because I did not take the apprenticeship half of the program. So I started emailing these people that I knew and asking around. And I hadn't done a lot of marketing in the past couple years since I'd worked on my mother's business, just little by little. And so I emailed them and I was like, yeah, I have experience in marketing. Because I'd been writing my own blogs and had gotten to get better know like Instagram and Facebook and Pinterest from a personal standpoint. I was like, I will run your Pinterest account. I will write content for your website and, like, get you seen by people and read by people. And that wasn't really stuff that I knew how to do perfectly, but it was something I knew I could do. And so it's very much been a learning process of like, okay, this is actually how SEO works. This is how the search engine in Pinterest works. So it's a lot of trial and error and figuring out, and just very honestly saying like, we're going to try this. Not 100% sure it'll work, but we're going to try it. And are you okay with that? And if they say okay, we go ahead, and then we see, all right, people really liked this blog post, or nobody read this blog post.
I love it.
Yeah.
So you really like took the initiative and you're like, I am going to take this skill that I've already been cultivating and then go pitch it in an appealing way to a business. So with your experience in like, running these small accounts, what are some effective tools, or maybe the top 3 most effective tools you found to help you get seen by people?
As far as social media, Instagram is a really, really great one for the jewelry business I work for. I think that's because people can see, like, and as I said, she styles them really, really well. And she has a very nice, consistent feed. And so for there, I think they're seeing like the colors and how beautiful it looks. And they're thinking, oh, I want to wear that. I want it to look beautiful on me. And then there's a soap company that I work for, and I run their entire Pinterest account. And I found that has been really helpful for traffic, because their business is they're selling a product, but they're also in the like natural, organic half of the market. And so they're also educators. So we're writing blog posts and also sharing blog posts from other people in their Pinterest page, and like healthy recipes and all that sort of thing. So it's building on Pinterest, it's very much building like a lifestyle around the product. So there's the soap, but there's also healthy eating, because healthy skin starts when you eat and drink well. So that's been really helpful in that the people who are interested in one thing are usually interested in these related things. So there's like natural makeup and natural food, and that all correlates and makes people see, oh, this person pins a lot of really awesome recipes. And then they might click on our profile and see they sell soaps. And these soaps are also natural and safe and effective. And then they might go and try one out.
That's so cool. You can use like common interests to then direct them toward maybe something that they hadn't originally thought of, but would align with some of their own stuff. That's really interesting. So what would you maybe say to someone, or what advice would you give to someone who's looking into starting in marketing, doesn't have a lot of experience, but just kind of wants to learn as much as possible?
Just practicing for whatever you can. And some people are really good at SEO. Some people are really good at content creation. Some people are really good on social media. So, and if you don't know what you're good at, you kind of need to start testing out a lot of things. And so doing that for yourself to begin with, like if you want to be a content creator, start creating content for yourself. Start a YouTube channel or a blog or a podcast. And then if you build up a following, or even if you don't, you have a portfolio of work that you can then say, hey, I want to do this for your business. And you can also refer them to, and this is my YouTube channel and examples of work I've already done.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what would you say?
Market yourself.
Yes.
And then you can kind of show them like, hey, this is how I've done it. And here's how I want to kind of shift that strategy a little bit and play with it for your brand and your business.
That is so true. Well, thanks so much for being on this interview. My last question is, what was one maybe marketing campaign or attempt that you tried that didn't go according to plan? And what did you learn from it?
Recently, I actually tried Pinterest ads, and I know personally, like scrolling through my feed, I see ads all the time and I mostly ignore them, but occasionally I click on them and I'm like, oh, this is cool. So I was like, this should go pretty well. And I've done Facebook ads in the past, and Pinterest looks a little different from the back end, and I was a little weirded out, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this. Went and attempted that, and I think we had like a 2% engagement rate. And we were like, oh, all right, this was a flop. So learning from that, I think we may just be like going back to Facebook ads. But learning from that is like research the medium for the ad before you actually try one, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of good that can come out of trial and error, but in this case, I didn't get like the Pinterest backend at all. I was like, what am I doing? So maybe looking at other people's case studies and looking into how it works, like how the Pinterest algorithm uses those ads. So doing research and then saying, all right, is this really where we want to invest our money? Or are there ways we could better invest it?
Right. All right, well, thank you so much for being a part of this interview with me.
You're so welcome. I was happy to be here.